Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign 2025 is going to bring you some amazing changes in relationships and as well, maybe in financial matters and romance. So, existing relationships changing, new romance coming in, and some interesting developments in your money. Get ready to power up there in a new way. We're going to talk about all of this in detail by covering 4 items for the year ahead that I think are essential for you to know. Unfortunately, there's just so much I could tell you about, and I can't. So, if you want to get the deeper dive, by the way, my name is Lori Lothian. I'm using the Western Tropical Zodiac Whole Sign House System Astrology. If you want to get a deeper dive into how your year is going to go in 2025, I've got a 2-hour video for you. It's basically cut up into quarters. So you get every 3 months, I tell you what's happening. You got timestamps, you got a downloadable audio, a downloadable video, a secret hidden video link, all the same content in different formats that you can receive. You get all of it, and plus a PDF guidebook I've written for you about what to do and what to experience and what you're having happen to navigate your best life, time your best life in 2025. If you want to grab that, it's for sale down below. And it's because it's my yearly fundraiser for microphones and ring lights and timestampers and video editors and people to help me grow the channel. So if you want to help support the channel, I would appreciate that. And the link to the Ho 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 Santa Claus sale on until sometime in January. I haven't delineated when, so just check the link below. If it's still there, then the sale is still on. All right. So Capricorn, number one for you. You know, as the year begins, as we start off in the month of January, and I'm going to show you a few things, but as we start off in the month of January, you're going to notice this. You're going to notice that you've got Mars, right? And I'm in January in your 7th house. But before he gets there, when we first start off the month, I'm not going to drag the chart back. Just trust me. The last week of December and up to the 6th of January, you're going to have Mars moving through Leo and opposing Pluto in your 2nd house. This can look like a big deal on your financial front. And it may not be entirely pleasant, but it has to do with resources you share with others and separating resources or dividing resources or carving up resources, but maybe in a bit of a contestable way, like a contest or who's got the authority around this kind of shared money. What is that about? It could be a tussle with the tax collector, the bank, the mortgage holder, or your significant other. And this brings me into or over inheritance monies. And this brings me to mind, especially with Mars here. She will be here ruling your 4th house of legacy wealth, family of origin, inheritances. So what I would say, first of all, is breathe, because maybe the last week of December, 1st week of January until the 6th is going to be something that's going to come back, according to the astrology, on April 27th, 6th. So the last 10 days of April, even, you're really feeling the same energy you do in the beginning of this year. And because there's a retrogradation through Leo, this is a different energy as well. Mars is going to be going back over old territory. I know someone's going to say, why don't I see that on the chart? You'll see my problem, right? I'm going to lose the sign just to show you what I'm trying to show you. Almost like, there we go. Now let's get you back. So Mars opposite Pluto, really intense energy. You're feeling it. January 3rd is most precise, but it's there till January 6th. It starts to be felt around December 26th. You're feeling it. And there's definitely something about the money story you have to pay attention to. Now, Pluto in your 2nd house is a game-changing energy, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, but I just want to focus on the early year, 1st week of kind of January, and again, popping back in for a review the last week of April, this financial tension. And because this is going retrograde in the beginning of the year, Mars is going backwards, consider what happened in your life November the 4th to December the 6th, because that was Mars moving direct in your Leo 8th house before turning around December the 6th right? All the way turning back until January 6th. So there's something he wanted to do. Mars's actions, decisions, cutting, severing, ending, dividing things goes into the eighth house. It's about money. It's about investments in the markets, 401k, pension plans, spousal support, alimony, shared resources with a marriage partner, taxes, mortgages, banks, credit cards, all of that. So, I mean, sometimes it's just as simple as arguing with the credit card company about a false charge, but it could be much more than that. And that's what I'm trying to get you to pay attention to. And in my view here, you're going to be able to see that whatever this kind of intense blowout energy is, it was already in play November 4th to December 6th. And this is now coming into this review mode from December 6th until crisis conflict energy hits you January 6th or so, by the end of January 0 to January 6th. Now, that means that Mars will go back into your significant long-term love house. This is marriages, business partners, and the way you reach out to your audience and marketplace, should you have one. You know, Mars entered this part of your sky on September the 4th and didn't leave until November the 4th. The last time he did this kind of dance between Leo and Cancer, by the way, was way, way, way back in 1977, fall to 78 spring. So you're back in the story again, if you were old enough to remember that time period. And Saturn, I mean, and Mars in your marriage house, right, going backwards until February 23rd, January 6th to February 23rd. Oh, that could definitely look like you're going to have to go back and address some unresolved issues between you and a significant other that you experienced in September and October, particularly perhaps in the month of October. Unresolved issues with business partners, clients, audience, marketplace, and marriage type long-term committed love stories. Then Mars will go direct on February 23rd and through to April 18th. This is the sword of Damocles. Either that relationship is staying or not staying together. There can be either way it can go, right? Either way. When Mars is retrograde, you might find old long-term committed love partners coming back to you. And there may be grievances or some deep, powerful, transformative conversation that's feeling like it's almost like it's dauntingly intense, right? Mars opposite Pluto. It's explosive. It's emotionally cathartic. It's purgative. And this conversation can be with anybody you were with in the past, right? Any long-term committed, maybe live-in, boyfriend, girlfriend, long-term love relationship, etc. So keep that in mind too. And, you know, you'll feel that like people from the past story, perhaps December the 6th through to February 23rd, and those intense conversations that are needed in the opposition to Pluto. And if you have any legal battles, like legal contractual battles, this is going to be also something the first week of January and the last week of April that may be playing out. Now, your Pluto energy is in the second house. You've already lived through 2008 Capricorns, you know, and you can listen for your sun, your career and purpose, your moon, your home and body, your rising sign, the character of you in the game of life, the avatar. Well, the sun is the game player, metaphorically. But you already lived through Pluto transforming you like Aquarians risings will do next. And now that you've learned what true power, true wealth, true surrender to greater forces in your life is, because you've lived through this already, then now, and it's not easy for a cardinal sign to say to Pluto, okay, you're a transpersonal, evolutionary, huge titanic force, bigger than me, because you guys are cardinal and you like to be in charge. But no, you weren't in charge of much of your life. If you want to really think about 2008 till now, you think about that. You weren't really in charge. Now Pluto is in your second house. So this is money. This is wealth. This is resources. This is riches. Now you can, if you're born with Pluto here, you can be a wealthy person, like, you know, but you can also lose wealth because now you're learning about wealth and power, wealth and money. If you enter into this state as Pluto begins to move through here and you're not like vastly rich, you may indeed become richer and richer over the next 20 years. Pluto will not leave your second house till 2044. But you'll learn lessons about what you value, about money, about resources, about, you know, is the love of money is money the root of all evil? No, the love of money is the root of all evil. That is always the most mangled truism, right? If you're attached to money, yes. Otherwise, no, of course it's not evil. It's useful. So keep that in mind. So I've covered the first two things. Drum roll. I should have laid it out more clearly. Sorry. Number one, I wanted to talk about Mars moving through your seventh house and your eighth house, which I've covered. Two, I wanted to talk about what you can do with that Pluto in the second house, right? It's a big deal for you because you just came off of Pluto in your first house. So you get the Pluto specialty, this Pluto special. And Venus will come into contact with Pluto once a year almost for the next 20 years. And that's a wealth yoga. If you use this right, Capricorn, no matter where your money is now, you're retired or you're a young person listening, you can make wealth. You can make incredible prosperity happen over the next 2 decades, but you're going to do that through your ingenuity, your own work, your own career path, especially. All right, number 3, big important thing for Capricorns. Number three is Saturn, Venus, North Node, triple conjunction happening in the spring in your third house, not seen since 1877 in terms of just getting even the North Node and Saturn into conjunct here. So I'm not going to spin the wheel. I'm tired of trying to track it. Just trust me. They're all together. The North Node will move into Pisces on January 6 or something. We'll be there for a year and a half. It's going to be adjoining with Saturn, who's been there since 2023, Neptune, and Venus. Now, the Venus part of the story is important because Venus is a benefic, and she's exalting your third house. And when she joins with Saturn for longevity, endurance, discipline, and focus, and certainly with Neptune here too, until a certain point, there's an indication that writing projects, social media projects, travel, things to do with those matters, or prosperity that's destined regarding aunts, uncles, cousins, nieces, and nephews, and siblings can be outlined here for you. This is auspicious in the sense that even though Saturn is a malefic, he sextiles your Capricorn identity, sun or moon, ascendant, rising, whole sign sextile. He's trying to favor you, and he wants to give you something to lean on and to rely on. And because it's a third house, it often is people that are third house, but it's also neighbors and neighborhood. And, Saturn means, what is stable, what is enduring. And Venus means what is beautiful, what is pleasurable, and what is prosperous. And when they're joining together, the North Node is amplifying this. This is happening in the last week of April. It's extremely rare. And you've had a lot of intensity with the North Node traveling through your fourth house since midsummer of 2024, leaving in January of 25. You have been amplifying your chironic wound that you may have felt since 2019. It's a wound around legacy wealth, family of origin inheritances, home, where do I belong, feeling wounded about your childhood, having to heal your childhood wounds. All this has been in your narrative since 2019. And the amplification of that with the North Node, excruciating salt in the wound energy for the last few years, is now finished. Particularly the April 18th eclipse of 2024 that was right on that chironic wound. And within a year of that, so April of 25, where the sky is saying, let's heal this chironic wound. Let's blow it out of the fire of the Aries fourth house. My feeling here too is that because Saturn is in a house that we would connect with our ideas, you may have some idea that will bring you some kind of prosperity over time. And if you're looking for a relationship and you're not, you're single, this could bring you love that's destined with somebody that's fated, in a local neighborhood setting or on a dating app. And the Saturn Venus can mean somebody who's mature, maybe older than you, but it doesn't have to be. It just means there's a fated, destined, exalted love story through travel that may emerge into your life sometime in the month of April, but also even in February for reasons I won't get into. But all of January to early February, much of January to early February, also new fated romances can show up for you. They could go the distance over time. And I'll tell you why in a bit, because I've got the last salvo for you. One more thing about it. Are you creative? Are you artistic? Are you a musician? Are you a photographer? Are you social media beast, because Neptune's here. Yes, he dekes out into your fourth house, and Saturn and Neptune are going to try to bring you a dream home. Yay, finally, you say. And they'll try to do that for 4 months, June, July, August, September. But then Neptune goes back, and then Saturn and Neptune follows. So you still have Neptune lingering in your third house all the way through until February 2026. So there's still some creative juice here for any of you creative types who are working with this intensity of an exalted Venus, North Node, Saturn triple conjunction in the last week of April, because Neptune comes back and they might add the enchantment of profound imagination and creativity. The last thing you need to know about 2024 without using my deep dive 2-hour video is the following story. Jupiter will be moving into a part of the sky that is about long-term committed love. And if you want love and you need love, everyone does, this could bring in a love of a lifetime. Now, the movement into your seventh house is June the 9th, and he leaves on June the 30th of 2026. Game on. Now, if you're in a relationship, it means getting engaged, moving in together, setting a wedding date. It will up-level the relationship. Okay, it will create it. It will take it to the next level. So with this exaltation, people who come into your life in June the 9th through to next summer of 26 will be Jupiterian. Teachers, gurus, and guides, very powerful energy, exalted. You might also come into so you might find a guru, a deep, profound connection, a very deep relationship with a spiritual teaching or teacher. You also may find you're bringing into your life generous, magnanimous, wealthy, and good-spirited new friendships and people into your world who really are, truly powerful and positive influences in your life. Jupiter here is good for legal contracts, negotiations, and dealing of any sort. And Jupiter's gains can be felt in the 8th house, meaning that settlements for inheritances, credit card debts, mortgages, did I say inheritances, spousal support, separation agreements can be favored as Jupiter transits the 7th and brings the gains into the 8th. Taxes as well can be smoothed out and things can go well. June the 9th out a year. Now, before he gets there, of course, he's been traveling through your 6th house, and that's a work and health area. So a lot of you might have improved your health, been working on solutions for health. You might have had some situations with pets going on, getting a new pet, or Jupiter expanding problems that your pet has so you can see what's going on. Jupiter here also could indicate that you might have been very busy experiencing some kind of luck or work opportunity success, and that would be true, okay, all the way from late May of 24 to June 9th of 25. So you still have half a year of this kind of lucky break opportunity, but not until he goes direct. So consider that February the 4th, when Jupiter is in direct motion through to June the 9th, is a good time to send out the resume. And you'll have the North Node out of the 10th house, which has been holding you back from getting a new job, getting a career, finding a meaningful path in life that everyone sees you doing. Once that North Node slides out of there and moves, out of your hair and into your 9th house, you could even get career and work opportunities, anytime between February 4th and June the 9th in foreign countries, foreign shores, and foreign lands from the one in which you were born, or that requires you to do international travel, including getting visas and passports. And if you're not looking for work, say you're retired, right? And you don't want to, you could go back to school and learn something new, and you would want to use it for meaningful purpose and dharmic alignment. And that's something that you could have some luck finding or doing or coming into contact with on February 4th through to June the 9th. Health problems can be remediated when he goes direct, and you'll find yourself feeling better as well during that time. And don't forget, he's having a kind of whole sign conversation with Pluto. So you get a new job under this influence anytime after he goes direct. You got Pluto in your 2nd house. You're going to get some kind of cream puff job, some kind of real wow, I can't believe this. This is fantastic for my finances. I'm so happy. I feel like lucky break me, this is working. This is working for me. So you could have a real kind of deepening of riches or an expansion of your riches with Jupiter in the 6th and Pluto in the 1st. And again, you want that direct motion for things to move forward. But the only thing I'd say is if you've worked for someone in the past, you had a boss from the past, a colleague from the past, a workplace from the past, South Node is in the 10th house, then that could be an altercation. I mean, an alternative version that once we start into about mid-January through to early to mid-January, starting around that time through to February 4th, you may hear from old bosses, old colleagues, old co-workers. South Node means the past in the 10th house. It does move over into Virgo early on. I believe I would double check the date. Okay. Cause I should have known that, but I always forget. No, I don't want to go by hour. Give me a minute. Day. Here we go. Let's get that north node, south node axis over the fence, guys, over the fence. Yeah, there we go. So kind of like around January 12th. Okay, 11th, 12th. That's what I thought it was. So January 11th, 12th, we get the node shift for you. And so obviously from January, the beginning of the year, till January 12th, or you could say the last week of December, because, to January 12th, you could have some opportunity for a job coming from your past. So you won't be something fresh and new. You're not going to be headhunted off of LinkedIn and you've never heard of these people before. Otherwise, you could get brand new opportunities with, a bit of a Midas touch there. June 9th to February 4th to June the 9th. Thank you for listening, Capricorn. Don't forget, I have so much more detail for you. It's up to 2 hours for each sign. Some are 2.5 hours, 15. Some are almost 2 hours long, but they're pretty close to all signs are 2 hours. Get the bundle, share with friends and family as a stocking stuffer. As I mentioned earlier, they're not for sale. It's a fundraiser. And if you want to know anything about me, Substack is my Pluto Chronicles, navigating Pluto and Aquarius for the next 20 years. It's a written form by me. I'm a journalist, a writer, and I love to write, so I'm back to writing. You could also check out the Pluto Chronicles. You can check out my Patreon community, up to 3 Zoom meetings with me a month, my Cosmic Moonshine newsletter. If you want to get a reading with me, you're going to have to be on one of my newsletters or Patreon to even hear about it. When I put spots out, which is now going to be for February, they sell out in half an hour. I've got a waiting list of like 2,000, 3,000 people for readings at this point. So not much I can do about that. I'm only one person, so I have to just work with what I have. But the best way to find out if I'm opening up slots on my calendar is to definitely be on one of my forums, my Patreon community, my newsletter, my Substack, something like that. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Share this video with other people if you don't mind. Certainly, it would help my channel thrive, and then I would be very, very grateful for that. Thank you so much. Trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. I'm getting closer and closer.